Real families, real farms, real food. Welcome to Arizona Agriculture Connection with Maricopa County Farm Bureau. My name is Nicole Clements, Executive Director, and I'll be your host. Maricopa County Farm Bureau is the voice of agriculture in a community that thrives on the dichotomy of urban and rural agriculture operations. This podcast is a home for farmers, ranchers, food lovers, prospective agriculturalists, and those looking to connect the food on their plate with the farm that it came from. As we take an inside look at agriculture in Arizona, we will delve into topics like ag technology, policy, food preparation, and everything in between. You can find us on your favorite podcast platform with new episodes every Wednesday. Arizona Agriculture Connection is hosted by Maricopa County Farm Bureau and sponsored by Paloma Ready Mix and Materials, a proud supporter of agriculture and our communities. Be sure to subscribe and share your favorite episodes with your friends. For more interactions, follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn at Maricopa County FB. Now let's discover some Arizona agriculture. Welcome back, Arizona Aggies, to another edition of Arizona Agriculture Connection. And today I'm very excited to have Brittany Quigg, who is right here in Queen Creek. And you may see a theme the last month. We've had a lot of women on the podcast. That's by design. So it is not only Dairy Month, but it's also Women's History Month in 2026, the year of the International Woman Farmer. So very excited to be able to showcase some of our local producers and for you to hear their stories. So welcome, Brittany. Thank you so much for being here today.
Absolutely.
I'm very excited. Queen Creek is quite the place. I know it's changed a lot in the last, 20 or so years. But
yes, it has.
Can you give us a little bit of background on you and kind of how did you grow up here?
Yeah, so I'm actually an Arizona native, born and raised. We've been in Queen Creek for about 23 years, and it has grown so much since then. In high school, freshman year of high school, I joined 4-H, started showing market lambs, market goats, dabbled in dairy cattle a little bit, showed poultry. And then about 13 or 14 years ago, I had a couple market turkeys for state fair. One of them came home with me, and I thought, hey, we've got Thanksgiving dinner. I'll figure this out. So I did. It was kind of really before the days of the YouTube videos, to self-teach yourself. So I just jumped in with both feet and just figured it out on my own. So all self-taught. From there, it kind of morphed into keeping a couple turkeys every year, raised a couple meat chickens at one point. And then in 2019, I decided, hey, I've got a bunch of chickens. I've got an exorbitant amount of eggs. I should probably try to sell these outside of just neighbors, friends, and family. So we created my LLC, Moonlight Rose Farms, started participating in farmers markets. Initially just started out at Ahwatukee selling eggs. At that time, eggs were a hot commodity. I would take 20 dozen eggs, and I'd have people lined up before the market started to be sold out in literally 45 minutes. And then sit there and twiddle my thumbs and talk to people as they came up to my booth. About a year in, I decided that I was going to start raising meat chickens. Did that on kind of a part-time basis because I was still working a full-time job. Gradually grew. I took 2024 off from everything with the business just for personal stuff going on. And about last May, so May of 25, I really decided, I'm tired of working in corporate and I want to be self-employed. I want that flexibility for all the work that I do to be for me and not the betterment of a corporation. To be able to work as hard as I want to achieve my goals. And I just wanted to be able to be outside more. So I started selling my pre-order Thanksgiving turkeys last May, jumped in with both feet last fall with the meat chickens, and was able to quit my full-time job at the end of December last year. So I've been doing poultry full-time for about 6 months now.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You really took that 4-H learn by doing motto to heart.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's pretty common in agriculture. A lot of us, from the outside, it's like, oh, they know it all and they've got it all figured out. And like, really, we're all just learning as we go.
Oh, yeah. Still learning. Every flock of chickens still learning.
I think each one brings different challenges and you learn something new with kind of
sure.
each herd that you get in. But so with that, was that intimidating to quit that full-time job?
You have no idea. So people who know me historically know that I don't like change at all. I'm one of those, like, I'm very comfortable in my comfort zone, and I don't like to step outside of that. It's about last September when I decided, hey, I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to do poultry full time. I had that just like unsettling feeling, like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm at the edge of the cliff and I'm just about to jump off with both feet. Like, done deal. And yeah, I had made up my mind. I was just going to basically pick up, do a 180 and change everything all at once, just rip the Band-Aid off. And I did. I gave my notice, just told myself it's either going to work or it's not. And failing's not an option. So it's got to work.
That is incredibly inspiring, first of all. And I think sometimes we almost discount the bravery that it takes to do something like that. And, you're betting all your chips on yourself.
Yep.
But that kind of drive and determination, I think, really shows others too that it is possible and you can be successful in this. So what have been maybe some of the biggest challenges as you made that transition?
So obviously initially it was going from, a small flock of chickens and then gradually increasing that to larger amounts. So of course there's financial aspect up front because you have to keep reinvesting before you have extra money in the bank to, purchase new chicken pens, watering systems, things like that. So there was growing there, and just figuring out the best times to raise the birds as far as like the heat goes. That's why I don't have any chickens now. They just flat don't tolerate the summers. And just the logistics of, fine tuning, like how much they need to be fed when they're 1 to 2 weeks old versus 2 to 4 weeks old versus that 4 to 8 week time frame. Streamlining the harvesting process and being able to get quicker at that as far as like dispatching the birds and getting them into the coolers and the refrigerators, figuring out what works best for me to get the birds broken down into pieces and vacuum sealed and packaged for the consumer. Time is money. So anything that I can do to speed up the process and anything that I can do to eliminate the amount of times that I touch a bird per se, just all increases productivity overall.
Absolutely. So you are harvesting and processing yourself?
That's correct.
Okay. And that, I'm assuming, was also a learn by doing kind of experience.
For sure. Yep.
So I know a lot of people are going to maybe be curious about how do you process it yourself and you're still able to sell to the public?
Correct. So there is an exemption with the Department of Agriculture that if you process less than 20,000 chickens per year, you are not required to be USDA inspected. So you can do all your processing, on your property or whatever. All of the initial like harvesting and dispatching and eviscerating I do outdoors for obvious reasons. The birds they go into an ice water bath once they've been dispatched. From there, they go into another clean ice water bath and then into a refrigerator to sit and chill for about 24 to 48 hours for the process of rigor mortis to come and go. After that, then I move everything indoors to part the birds out, vacuum seal, package, and all of that. And then they go straight into the deep freeze.
So that's a lot of work. And
yes,
you're just
is.
One person.
Uh-huh.
Is that sometimes another challenge, being the kind of only one that is doing everything?
It definitely can be. That was another learning curve, was better time management. And like I said, and figuring out what works best for me to be as quick as possible while still being as safe as possible. Both making sure, I don't injure myself, but also making sure that the birds are treated as humanely as possible during the dispatching process, keeping everything as clean as possible. But yeah, it can definitely be a challenge. Waking up at 3 a.m. on processing days is a joy.
Yes.
So we want to get everything done before it either gets too warm or the biggest thing, before the flies really come out. So that can be a huge issue.
So what do your time frames look like? So, you talk about Thanksgiving turkeys. So when are you bringing those in? And, then what is the time frame from when you get chicks to when they're processed?
Yeah, so I raise turkeys for Thanksgiving on a pre-order basis. Those usually open up at the end of April, beginning of May, when people aren't thinking about Thanksgiving turkeys. But when they put a deposit down, it guarantees that they're going to get that bird in November. It also creates security for me that, hey, I'm not going to raise X amount of turkeys and may or may not be able to sell them all down the road. So I start the pre-orders early. I'm going to get the baby turkeys the first and second weeks in August, and I'll start processing the first 2 to 3 weeks of November. They're usually about 12 to 15 weeks old, depending on if I want to keep them as whole birds or if I'm going to raise larger ones to be able to do parts again. So like boneless, skinless breast, turkey legs, things like that. The reason that they're only about 12, 13 weeks old for whole birds, I shoot for a finished product that's in the 12 to 15 pound range, not your supermarket, 20 to 25 pound bird, that is almost too big to fit in the oven.
So, yeah, I can recall a few birds that we've had to pull out the racks and make sure there's enough space just to get it in.
Yeah, nobody wants a 30-pound turkey.
There was never that many of us. I never understood why we needed to have such a big turkey anyways.
I don't know. And then they take forever to cook, and you've got leftovers for weeks, and everybody's sick of turkey after Thanksgiving Day anyway.
On that topic, whole birds are obviously more of a seasonal product.
Correct.
So your parts and pieces, are you doing that year round?
I do it twice a year. So once at Thanksgiving time, because, sometimes one family of 1 or 2, maybe 3 people, they don't want a whole turkey. They don't have a need for a bird that big. So they say, oh, I want a boneless, skinless breast. Or, no, yeah, I'll take some turkey legs, turkey thighs, because we like dark meat. And then in usually about March, so right after Thanksgiving turkeys are gone, I'll leave that pen empty for a couple weeks, get some more turkeys, much smaller quantity. And I process those typically in March. So again, if people want, parts and pieces, boneless, skinless breast, say for Easter, or, turkey legs for a barbecue, or, to smoke for a big gathering or something like that, they've got that option.
Everybody loves a good turkey.
Oh, yeah. Those are always the first to get it.
So kind of the same with the chickens as well?
Yeah, so chickens actually, I process them at a much younger age, usually 8 to 9 days, depending on, again, if I want to keep them as whole birds. Usually aim for 3.5 to 4 pound full chicken. And the parted out birds, I'll usually let them go another 5 to 7 days or so, just so they're a little bigger. So the thighs are bigger, the limbs are bigger.
What is the most popular cut when you're selling the pieces? What is everybody after?
Boneless, skinless breast.
Yeah.
Followed by thighs.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
More of a thigh kind of girl myself, but
same. Thighs and legs.
Yeah.
And I eat a lot of leftover wings.
I can imagine so. So we're kind of backing up a little bit to how Queen Creek has changed over the last 20 to 30 years. What have been some of those challenges that you've seen as an agricultural producer in a rapidly growing urban area?
Yeah, so when we first moved out here, like I said, 23 years ago, there was only one stoplight in town. All the roads were 2 lanes. Pretty much everybody had some amount of land, acre on up to 10 plus. And most everybody out here was pretty ag friendly. There wasn't a whole lot of subdivisions and stuff like that. And even the ones that wanted to live, outside of the larger cities. By that time, Gilbert had grown a whole bunch, Chandler had grown a whole bunch. So the people out here still wanted that more rural kind of lifestyle. And those people were coming to me for fresh chicken eggs and stuff like that. Now you run into the issue of, oh, I've got, X amount of chickens, or my neighbor's got more cattle than I think that they should have. And it's usually people have moved from the city that aren't familiar with the agriculture lifestyle, familiar with livestock, and don't understand the proper animal husbandry, that it's okay to have, more than what you think is an acceptable amount of cattle or chickens, as long as they're properly cared for, fed, cleaned up after. So that's definitely been a challenge.
That's part of why we do this and do other, education outreach type endeavors, just because people don't know what they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to share the story is, I think a really important part of Farm Bureau, but also, pretty special to us because we love getting to share your story. What is maybe the most common misconception about the poultry industry?
As far as on my scale or commercial?
Both.
So nowadays, with a lot more people being conscious of what they eat, where their food comes from, how it was raised, handled, processed, so many people are realizing, like our supermarket chicken has been treated with who knows what. So they seek out the local options. I get asked a lot, what are your birds fed? Are they pasture raised? What's added to their diet? Do you spray them with like a chlorine bath or something like that? I don't do any of that. My birds are fed organic. It's a certified non-GMO diet. I don't give them antibiotics. I don't give them hormones. I don't give them steroids. I don't get my chicks vaccinated. They're kept in clean pens for the entirety of their life. So I'm not worried about disease and bacteria with them. After that, like I said, when I process the chickens, they go into 2 different stages of cleaned ice water baths. That's all it is. Just ice about it. So like I said, there's nothing added to them. As far as anything else outside of that, I don't think the general public realizes like the scope of what I do with these birds. Like you mentioned, it's a lot of work. So that's part of what I enjoy about the farmers markets and interacting with customers. I get to explain to them, I order the chicks direct from the hatchery. You pick them up at the post office. They're this big. They're maybe 36 hours old at the most. And I do everything start to finish. Pick them up from the post office, feed and water them every single day. Do all the processing myself, all the packaging, all the label, all the marketing, all the direct to consumer sales. And once that's explained to them, they realize, how much work and effort and love I put into this. And it's really an eye opener for them. And I really enjoy seeing the look on their face when they, realize that, it's not just, getting chicks and then selling it to the people.
Yeah. I think that's one of my favorite reminders for producers is you're never just a farmer. Mm-hmm. So cross out, forget that just bird. Yeah, because you're never just a farmer. You're a farmer, an animal husbandress, an amateur vet, an accountant, a marketing specialist. You're all of these things, logistics and operations. And it really takes so many different hats.
It does.
And I think there's not a lot of other endeavors out there that are quite like that. Mm-hmm. And it's truly inspiring. I think when you break it down and you think about all that you actually get done, because when you're going through your day, it's just kind of, you do what you have to do and you just get it done. And then when you actually pause and take a step back and look at it, that really is almost superhuman.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot of 12-hour days. And, I tell people the birds don't care what the weather's like. They don't care if you're sick. They don't care if you're injured. You have to go take care of them. And they really don't care if you want to go out of town and go on a vacation because they still got to eat. And unless you find somebody who knows how to take care of meat chickens, you're stuck. You're in chicken prison.
Yeah.
For 8 months, 9 months out of the year.
Yeah. It's currently taking a trip very soon and just finding someone who is able to come and, not only stay at your house, but take care of all the animals and know how to interact with animals and how to just keep an eye on them and make sure that nothing is wrong.
Exactly.
Because nothing's probably going to happen, but the off chance If an animal's going to pick a time to get sick, it's probably going to be when you're gone. So.
Oh, for sure. It's the way it always goes.
With that, I want to ask, we've got Moonlight Rose Farms, so remember the name, but where can people find you, whether that be in person or online, if they want to reach out about some products?
Yeah, so my main outlets are going to be the farmers markets, which farmers market season is done until October now for me. I am at Greenhouse Gardens Farmers Market in Chandler every Saturday. I'm just started the Carefree Farmers Market, which runs on Fridays. Just the last few months, I intend to pick that one back up in October as well. I do that with Tukey Farmers Market once a month, and that one runs on Sundays. Outside of that, I do stock the Agritopia Farm Store. I stock Sovereign Acres Farm Store up in Apache Junction. And then I also intend to rejoin the Agritopia Fun Night Farmers Market in the fall when that starts back up as well. And then for people that aren't able to make it to a farmer's market or, their weekends are busy, I do have customers that come by the house. They'll text me, call me, email me, saying, hey, this is what I want or what do you have in stock. You can also find me on Instagram and Facebook at Moonlight Rose Farms. I have a website as well. It's not set up for pre-ordering on the chicken. You can still pre-order your Thanksgiving turkeys on there, though.
That was going to be my next question.
Yep. There's still about a dozen or so slots for the turkeys left. Caveat with that is you have to be able to either come to the farm to pick up or meet up with me at one of the farmers markets between November 11th and 22nd. During that time frame, I'm not going to have the bandwidth to be able to deliver to anybody just because I'm going to be so busy. But my website is moonlightrosefarms.square.site.
Perfect. And once again, we will have all of her contact information linked in the blog page on our website for this episode. So you can just remember maricopacountyfb.org, and from there we'll have all the links to Brittany and her operation. Perfect. And I want to thank you so much again for your time, your very precious time.
Yes.
So again, I appreciate you chatting with us today and glad that we could help share your story.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, that's it for this week. Tune in next week for another AgReport episode of Arizona Agriculture Connection.
Thank you for tuning in today, and remember, Farm Bureau has a place for you. Be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with your friends on socials. You can also visit our website, maricopacountyfb.org, for more information and to submit a topic you want to learn about. Remember to tune in every Wednesday wherever you listen to podcasts. A huge thank you to Paloma Ready Mix and Materials for supporting our agriculture producers and this podcast. Maricopa County Farm Bureau, bringing you the stories of real families, real farms, and real food. I'm Nicole Clements, signing off. Catch you next week.